Hey everybody, this is Joe. Thank you for watching my Giga-Texas construction update video.
Well, welcome back out to another Monday here at Giga-Texas. It is the 21st of October, 2024, and starting up another busy work week. For the intro, I have a few things that I just want to go over, and then we'll get right into the video. The first is kind of a hidden Easter egg that they have here at Giga-Texas. And this one's actually pretty special, and I just want to say thank you very much to the Tesla team for doing this. Now, we have to go in a drone and we have to get up into the air and take a look at the top of the flagpole, specifically the top ball on top of the Tesla flag. And as we get closer in, you can see that the Easter egg is the little aha kind of figure that they have when you purchase a new vehicle on the website from Tesla, and they actually wrote "Hi Joe" on there for me. I think that's pretty cool and kind of very special that that they decided to do that. So I just want to say thank you very much. I thought I would share with everybody. I think this is kind of emblematic of the fun that Tesla puts into all of their products. And I just think it's pretty cool. Now, another thing that I do want to talk about has to do with the Boring Company tunnel and the work that they are doing here. Now, you know that they have had to replace the road surface panels inside the tunnel, and that work is ongoing. More of them have been brought over from the Bastrop site, and they are actively installing them into the tunnel. And as important as that is to give them that driving surface for the new vehicles, there's another development that happened just after I finished my last video on Friday, and that is they are installing some Megapacks inside the south end of the extension of the building next to the tunnel entrance. And the reason why is that this is allowing them the ability to do some supercharging of the Cybertrucks as they exit the end-of-line facility and get ready to go through the tunnel. And this is a process that they're adding in. I don't know if it's temporary while they're continuing to build out the south extension and also working on all the electrical systems, or if this is a permanent system. But in any case, it's pretty neat that we're seeing some more of the infrastructure being installed to make the tunnels operational. Now, the last thing I do want to mention is coming up on Wednesday at 4:30 Central Time. That would be 21:30 UTC. In Giga-Texas behind me is the third quarter Tesla financial results meeting. And that one is going to be very interesting because they did really well with the deliveries and production in the third quarter. But even though Wall Street thought it was a little bit lower or just at where they expected, it's possible that we're going to hear some really good financial results and margins on the returns of sales of the vehicles and also the Megapacks around the world. So I think you should tune into that. You can watch along on the Tesla IR website. And again, it'll be here on Wednesday afternoon. So looking forward to that, and good luck to Tesla. So let's get into the drone. Let's see what else is going on this busy Monday morning. And again, thank you very much for your support and for watching.
If you would like to support my efforts, please consider using these links, which will be in the video description. If you are interested in Tesla products, you can help yourself and support me by using my referral code. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons on my YouTube video, as this helps as well. Thank you. My drones are ready and raring to go. Let's go flying over Giga-Texas. Well, good morning from Giga-Texas, and it's cool to think that my name is actually on top of one of those 3 flagpoles as we discussed in the intro. Very cool, very honored, and I'm just very appreciative of Tesla doing that. It's a lot of fun, and it means a lot to me. Now we're going to start off here on the west side, taking a look at a very nice sunrise across the entire site. And we also see some vehicles on the center of the screen. 3 of them are covered. One of them is an uncovered transport. They all have Cybertrucks getting ready to head off to their customers. And as we drop the drone down a little lower, I wanted to start next to the Lone Star Asphalt and Paving Company, show you the progress with the terminal for the natural gas pipeline. This is associated with the Sand Hill Energy Plant. This is the lateral extension project, and the terminal here is starting to take shape pretty quickly. This one section with the geotextile membranes and all of the various valves and pumps is eventually going to be most likely gravel. We might see it asphalted, and we'll see how that progresses. Again, this is not really a Giga-Texas project, but it obviously affects Giga-Texas through this entire area. As we cross over Tesla Road, take a look at this material staging yard with all of the steel items. I did notice on the left-hand side of the screen another truck bringing in more of those transformers. These are similar to the ones that we see in the far southwest corner material staging yard. And this is one of several new deliveries of transformers. That will eventually bring the total well over 150 waiting for installation. And I will show you those here in a moment later in the video. But as we continue to fly over much of this steel, and I believe that a lot of it is being used inside the factory itself as they continue to reconfigure and add on capability in the factory. These items with some of the connections, the pipes and junctions, plus the Evapco fan units and bases, and additional equipment here on the south side of that are still waiting for their eventual installation. And I would like to be able to figure out where that's going to go in the factory or a new structure. And once I know, I will let you know. As we cross over the road towards this material staging yard with the 2 tents, we see more of the steel items being stored, some additional items and packaging on the bottom, and some of the red scaffolding items on the right that is usually associated with a production line. As we continue to fly to the south towards the end of line facility and over some of the equipment that has been used to do that natural gas pipeline, this is what we see. The outbound lot is mostly empty. That's because they transport most of the vehicles off during the weekend. And now that it's Monday, production is ramping back up, and we can see how a lot of the Cybertrucks and some of the Model Ys are entering into the north end of the end-of-line facility for processing. And as we continue to fly over the end-of-line facility along the test track where we see Model Ys and Cybertrucks being tested, I did want to show you the covered parking, or at least the covered trailers next to the parking lot in the center of the screen. A viewer of mine did some research, and they told me that the covered trailers that say Forza is part of a company that has a lot of transportation work due to the North American Free Trade Agreement, or NAFTA, predominantly through to Mexico. So it is very likely that these covered transports are being used to move Cybertrucks across the border down to Mexico for sales to their customers. And why they are choosing to use this versus another method, most likely because it's crossing international boundaries and they needed that NAFTA transportation capability. The regular transports are continuing to pick up the vehicles here on the west side, and those are going to customers within the United States. As we get to do this material staging yard on the north end is a lot of the spools of cables and other equipment that will be associated with electrical work. In the middle of the screen is more of those spools of cable and those transformers. And as I could tell you earlier and show you here, there's some more being delivered on these trucks. Now, these appear to be slightly different than the one we saw on the earlier truck, and I think that's headed to the south, and I'll show you that here momentarily. But this brings to well over 80, close to 90 transformers on this section waiting for installation. As I continue to fly to the south, we'll take a look at these blue and white items on the left, some of which I think are stamping press items still waiting for their turn to be installed somewhere in the factory. And on the right is that silver colored set of containers. And those were delivered late last week, and again, waiting to see where those are going to be headed as well. I'm going to bring the drone up over the power lines, take a look to the southwest. You can see where much of the steel is being stored. Some of it has already been moved in to the factory for installation. That large clearing that continues to have earthwork, and it looks like it's becoming a large rectangular depression across the entire site. What is that for? I'm not sure, but I'll continue to monitor that. In the middle of the screen is at least 72 more of these transformers. Of course, these are marked as used for battery backup and solar panels. And we'll have to see where that is going to be installed. That truck earlier has one of those, and it's most likely being delivered here today. As I pull away on the south side of River Road, more of that electrical conduit along the length of the road is being installed. Some of the concrete vaults are visible as well. A nice pan across the entire west support facility and how this area looks today. More of the conduit on the bottom of the screen paralleling the River Road, goes under the bridge and over to near where the intersection is with the fork that was installed very recently and we talked about in my previous video. As I come back over the power lines, I'll bring the drone down. A few things I want to show you here. The continued cleanup of the horizontal drilling associated with that natural gas pipeline. It continues. Some of the equipment on the truck on the left is getting ready to move out off the site. All of these concrete road panels are the newly created ones and tested that replace all of the ones that used to be in the boring tunnel, and these are continuing to be installed today. As I pass over this section where the dirt is being filled in over the trench, this is where the underground natural gas pipeline runs and it goes underneath the Colorado River behind the drone. And then in this section with this large trench box, this is where that pipe goes underneath the boring tunnel. As we talked about in the video intro, in addition to installing some of those road panels within the tunnel, on the left you see some drilling marks or round circular marks on the left-hand side of the screen, and then you see those smaller tubes. There's also some rebar cages. It looks like there's going to be some sort of structure built there with all of those items into those holes. This is a good view of those tubes next to the main tunnel, and also the conduit on the fire water loop and fire hydrant on the left of the screen. On the right of the screen is more of those road surface panels, and those are getting ready to be moved into the tunnel. As I zoom back out and maneuver the drone, we're going to see the front end loader or the forklift or whatever item you would like to call it. It's exiting from the tunnel. It had just placed another one of the road surface panels within the tunnel itself, and it's getting ready to pick up and move more of them in there. I know a lot of people have different names for that item. I'll let you decide what is the most appropriate, but at least we know that they are installing those panels. I'm going to cross over the road and we'll resume on the other side and take a look at the flagpoles where we began the video today. This is also a look at the landscaping at the bottom of the flagpoles, plus those three bottom finishing plates that are still resting on the right-hand side of the screen, ready to be installed on the base of the flagpoles. As I maneuver the drone here, trying to show you that the Model Y exit point on the left of the screen is just gearing up. It is early on a Monday morning, and that will be much busier later today. A nice low-level view of the flagpoles, and I'll bring the drone up and just take a look at these flagpoles one more time. As I mentioned, it's quite an honor to know that my name is on top of the flagpole with the Tesla flag on that golden ball at the very top. So very cool. The use of crates bringing in equipment continues in this part of the factory. And you can see where the rubbish are being prepared for recycling as well. Still not sure exactly what equipment they are sending in for use in the factory, but this trend has been going on for well over a month now. As I maneuver here next to the crane and the temporary platform, this is where the Cybertrucks exit the factory. I did notice that next to that exit is one of those construction elevators. That's that red item, and you can see its truss that it moves up and down on. That is relatively new. In addition to that, a lot of the glass has been delivered. This will be becoming installed here very soon along this side of the factory. All of the mounts and the kind of the black tracks where the glass will be installed has already been placed on that perimeter grade beam and along the rest of the building. So that work should be becoming starting up very soon, especially since this is a new week, and I was expecting that to begin last week. So we're really close to having that glass installed. As I maneuver the drone around, this is a good look at the southwest corner, more of the glass ready for installation. We also see that yellow kind of truss suction cup item that is used to pick up the glass. It's right next to that white crane. A nice view of the work here at the south end. The 3 level of the terracing is very evident. The road surface preparation on the top is coming along. In the middle is going to be a kind of a concrete walkway. And then at the bottom is for overflow of water coming from the cyber pond. Nice look at those doors and the exit locations on each of the tunnels. And of course, those white pipes sticking out of the berm is for the roof drainage. You can see that next to each of the tunnels. And we saw earlier all of the trench work and installation of those pipes through this area. As I come around the light post, I'll bring the drone down a little lower, give you a nice view here of the southeast corner. Activity continues on the cooling plant, especially with the riser pipes on the right, and you'll see some closer views in a moment. On the ground floor here, excavation work and preparation for more of that perimeter grade beam continues. It looks like the forms have been removed and the concrete has been poured. The second floor is being cleaned up as far as equipment. Most of that has been installed. As I come closer to the cooling plant, you can see all the pipes, the manifolds that are being installed on the ground floor. A large section of the ground getting rebar ready for concrete, and that will complete this concrete section here between the two structures. Also, we see what looks to be some pipes on the ground in that red and silver getting ready for installation. As I come up to a higher altitude, this is a better view of this entire southeast corner and how it also continues to get ready for completion. And also with that concrete between the two structures, that tells us that we're getting really close to seeing that cooling plant operational. As I pull away, a nice overall view of the south end, the main factory, and that entire west support facility with the outbound lot and end of line building on the left, and downtown Austin in the upper left as well. At the center bottom of the screen, as I zoom in, more of the trench work here for the addition of the natural gas pipeline through this section. That goes underneath the ground and the intersection. You can see the trench work. And this is natural gas pipeline, but it is not related to the natural gas pipeline on the west side of the highway. This is more for Tesla itself. This is also staying zoomed in, a good view of the east side of the stamping machine structure, some of the equipment and some of the deliveries that are going on, and also a look through the gap between the parking garage and the main facility with some of that concrete work underneath the power poles. Another close-in view with this zoom of the parking garage and those privacy fences on the ground floor right-hand side. And that's where they continue to do testing of some new products. As I zoom out, it's an overall view of this southeast corner. As I cross back over the power lines and look back down between the cooling plant and the main factory, not only can we see that concrete apron and how it is starting to take shape, but on the left, that dirt section is where there was a temporary platform. My previous video, we saw that being dismantled, and now that work has been completed. So we'll most likely see asphalt through that section to complete that area. On the ground in this accordion truck is some interesting deliveries. I will zoom in and you can get a good view of what it is. Looks like it's white powder-coated items, possibly some items for stamping presses, or certainly within the stamping press section. As I come up and look at this temporary platform, more of the spools of cables being prepared and lifted up by the crane, and that's going along this entire parapet wall that you see in the left-hand side of the screen, and that is the cables that connect the power down to the supercomputer cluster, and it connects all the way up to the electrical switch yard, which we will see here momentarily. The old testing and parking garage, our parking lot, has a lot of the Cybertrucks and employee vehicles. And of course, here in that median underneath the power lines shows more of the work for the walkways and then how it angles in towards that secondary main entrance. Continuing to the north, we can tell that the concrete work in front of these receiving doors is now essentially completed. The receiving doors still need to get their enclosures installed, and then hopefully we'll start seeing these operational very soon. As I pan the drone to the north, great look at the work on the east side of the casting machine structure. The baghouse plant continues its assembly and getting that height in where we will most likely see more of those cube-like structures that are kind of like almost like ventilation ducting being installed in that tall structure, and then of course more of the duct work on the ground floor and the second floor in this section. The covered area over the receiving doors on the east side of casting is continuing to take shape. The roof decking is being installed, and some of the wall decking on the right-hand side of the screen is being installed as well. As I continue to work towards this north section, we can see that what was started on my previous video with all of the markings and the new asphalt is now had most of the racks installed here. This is for the sorting and managing of the castings. This is a long-term project that is starting to come to fruition, something that everybody here at Giga-Texas has been looking forward to kind of help solve the issue of having castings all over the outside of the factory. On the left-hand side is where they are untrimmed, which means that they have not had the milling machine work done as they've taken the castings out of the gigapresses. And then on the right-hand side here is where that milling has taken place, and these castings are ready for use in vehicle production. And a great look at how this site is being used to help manage and better protect all of these castings. This should also improve the efficiency of movement and making vehicles. So I know that that's something that they've been looking forward to for a long time. I'm going to bring the drone up to a higher altitude, cross over the north face of the factory, come over these cooling enclosures and the ventilation ducting, just to get a look at the new ductwork and those ducted fans that have been installed here. This addition is part of the continued expansion inside of the production facility for the 4680s. And this will play a role in continuing to ramp up 4680 production here at Giga-Texas. The work here continues with the preparation for the stairs in front of those three doors, that dirt mound, and some additional work around this section where the concrete had been removed. Work here is still progressing relatively slowly, and I'm not sure exactly what the rationale is for that at this time. As we fly to the north, I'll stop here. This is where the blue bins are collecting the steel canisters for the 4680s for recycling. Again, these are not completed batteries, it's just the can casings, and it may be indicating more of the work bringing up online some of the production lines inside. We do see some equipment being unpacked on these crates. Also that black Cybertruck, which I believe may still be one of the first dry cathode Cybertrucks that have been and are continuing to be used for testing. On the left-hand side of the screen, as we pass by some of the spools of the flexible cable, I'll come up to this location here next to the Cyberberm. We can see where it's being installed. This is, I believe, more of the fiber optic cables that are being installed along the entire west side of the factory. And it looks like they are now trying to get this part of the site completed. And I think this is potentially related to the Cortex supercomputer as well, so that they have a lot of high-speed data cabling and that capability here. Coming back into the north face of the 4680, I noticed that there are several deliveries, one of which in the accordion truck looks like a potential robotic assembler. I'll zoom in. You can see what it looks like with the silver packaging, and it looks like additional equipment being unpacked and ready to be moved inside. I think this is, again, a great sign, considering that all of the work inside for the now 8 production lines for the 4680s is definitely coming along quickly and should be operational here very soon. As we get over to the northeast corner of the casting machine structure, we see more of the castings and rack mounts being maneuvered here. Most of the rest of them have been moved away from this site, and we see some new marking along the berm going all the way along here and to the left of the screen. This may be for additional places for castings and rack mounts. The steel structure at this altitude gives you a much better look at how it is coming along with the roof and wall decking. Also, that valley vent that is close to those black vents on the side of the building. And you can see how the pitch of the roof brings it down to that valley vent. At the baghouse plant, another great look at the pipework that is continuing to be installed, that tall superstructure, and of course these kind of box-like structures that are continuing to be assembled onto this taller steel tower. And as I maneuver the drone, I'll give you a look down into this structure, what it appears like, and then as I pull away, an overall look at this entire site. So I'm going to reposition the drone up to the north, and we'll take a look at what's going on at the electrical switchyard today. The slab and catch basin for the third transformer looks to be completed. The grates have been installed, and the only things remaining are that protection wall. You can see the base on the left next to the second transformer, and we should see that delivery very soon. More footings have been installed just north of that slab. Also here to the west of the control room. Some of that is for the V-type circuit breakers, similar to what we already see, and some additional steel items. So great work here. Hopefully we'll see that third transformer soon. I'm going to reposition the drone over towards the battery cathode plant and the die shop. And we'll take a look here at what is going on at this facility. And of course, starting at the north end, a look at the receiving doors that are still active, the lift station on the right of the screen with that horseshoe kind of driveway, passing over the cell test lab. Some water is in the wade pit, but I think that may be from some rains that we recently had in the area. And of course, the crash test facility with that new perimeter wall. It looks like it's been cleaned up a lot, and there continues to be vehicles here that have been crash tested. I've been asked how many crash testings do they do. I'm not sure exactly, but I think they do at least one a day, several a week. And it's all of the various product lines that Tesla sells, not just the Cybertruck or the Model Y. The chilling plant looks like they continue to have more of these portable generator units, also work with temporary plumbing and pipes into the existing pipes. And of course, there's work over by those stainless steel tanks today, maybe assembling some of those red stairs to go over that concrete wall. And another good look at the rental equipment that is here that is augmenting some of the operation of the chilling plant. The last thing I'll show you here on this site is this fenced off section with some of the crates that have already been broken down. The equipment has been moved inside. As we've talked about before, this is a part of a system that will be helping with the cathode manufacturing. And having all of this equipment on site and being assembled inside is another great sign for the ramping of the 4680s going into 2025. So that's a quick look across the site with some great information. I hope that you enjoyed in the video intro and what we talked about throughout this video. As always, thank you very much. Take care.